So we have a really special moment right now. Matt Crebbin is with us, and Matt was born and raised and went to Sunday school in this church. Matt, come on forward. We have a little bit of time, but all of you know that Matt was the pastor at Newtown, Connecticut when the children were shot in school, and led that community so ably in those moments immediately following the tragedy, and is leading that community now. We prayed for you, Matt. We held you. We're so glad to see you. I burst into tears when I saw him this morning. I'm so glad that you're here, and we'd like to have you just share a couple of minutes with us of your ministry and what your life is like now. I'm his former youth pastor, too. Did I say that?
Thanks, Pat. Yeah, I was nervous for a minute there. You said I was the minister. I still am, and we are still trying to find our way, and we do appreciate so much all of your love and prayers and care, particularly from me, from this community of faith, which had sustained me as a young person, as a young adult, as one of those children that sometimes ask profound questions, but also folded up paper and try and throw them off the balcony, paper airplanes down into the sanctuary, much to the chagrin of my own mother. It's been a challenging time for us in Newtown, but it's also been a time filled both with grief and also grace. I have personally received thousands of emails, thousands of letters, packages. So if I haven't responded to any of you personally, it's not because your prayers and your thoughts haven't been felt. In fact, they've been felt overwhelmingly. And I thank you for that. Today's gospel story tells us the story of Jesus going back to his hometown. Pat left out the part where when Jesus goes back to his hometown, and his home community didn't actually welcome him after his sermon. That's next week. There you go. But we also know that he rolled out the scroll from Isaiah. And the Isaiah text comes from the 61st chapter of Isaiah. And Isaiah has been speaking throughout his words, especially in the later chapters, beginning with 53 and others, where he's talking about what it is, this calling, not just for him as a prophet, but really for the community, for all of Israel, for this new community and what it will be about. And I happen to believe that 61st chapter, which we heard today from Jesus, is really a chapter not about what one person's calling is, but about what a community's calling is. And when Jesus rolls it out and speaks to his own community, he's not just talking about the fulfillment of what he is about to bring, but rather he's announcing about what the community that he is going to be a part of and what he's calling all people to be a part of will be about. And now more than ever, it's clear to us, particularly in Newtown, that that's the community that we need to be about. I think Luke wasn't paying attention. It's hard, you don't have dictation back then. The Isaiah text tells us, in fact, Isaiah speaks and says in that same section to bind up the brokenhearted. That seems to be dropped from Luke's account, but I'm sure Jesus spoke those words because he knew his scripture, and he would have talked about binding up the brokenhearted as well. And that's the task, not just for me as a pastor in Newtown, but that's the task that our community, the church, has there, but also every church community has in the midst of these times. It's a holy calling. It's a calling filled with the Spirit, as Pat told us, but it's also a calling that is needed more than ever. And the good news is that we as faith communities have what is needed in this time. We know from the grief that is being experienced and from those who speak to us about how we transform grief into something else, that the way that happens is first through connections, through being in community. It happens through telling stories, through sharing story and finding power and meaning and purpose through our storytelling. And so we know that we are equipped already. We've been equipped for thousands of years to be that community. But it's a holy calling, and sometimes we forget how holy it is and how needed it is. and how needed it is not just for our community in Newtown, which grieves tragically, but also for a whole nation, for a whole world that grieves because violence is so prevalent, because we worship the altar of a gun. We've held on to this notion that somehow the Second Amendment is more important than the Second Commandment, which is that thou shalt not have any false idols. Now more than ever, we need to be the community that binds up the brokenhearted and proclaims the year of the Lord's favor. It's holy work, but it's not my work. It's overwhelming work. If it was just me on my own in an isolated little island church back in Newtown, it would be overwhelming. But I pray and I thank God that there are communities like this one, and there's communities all around this nation and the world who have been a part of this. I'm grateful, as many of you saw, that we have an interfaith community, both in Newtown and beyond around the world, that also speaks to this and also knows that even though we are diverse and different, we can gather and offer a voice of comfort, a voice of hope, a voice of peace. So I thank you for your prayers, and I pray that all of us in the coming days continue to live out that new job description, because that's what Jesus was laying out. He was laying out a job description not just for him, but for all of us. I didn't want that job description, I got to tell you. When it came to me 5 weeks ago, I knew I was not, it didn't fit with all of my profile. It didn't fit with what I saw were all my gifts. And I'm sure that Jesus was asking for somebody else. But my friends, it's the job description we have, and it is our calling. Don't just pray for me. Pray for all of us. Thank you.
And so let's stand and sing together, Here I Am.